If I had a nickel for every time LEGO remade this battle pack as an anniversary set, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? This is my in-depth review of the 40755 Imperial Dropship versus Rebel Scout Speeder. It's got 383 pieces, it costs $40, and by the end of this review, you'll know exactly why $40 is just too much money for this set. It does take the title from a couple other battle packs as the most expensive LEGO Star Wars battle pack ever. It includes a 25th anniversary figure in QTKT and 6 other figures split with 3 Rebel Fleet Troopers and 3 Stormtroopers. Just some of my first impressions as we look at the box. I mean, it definitely feels super modern, but it also feels so nostalgic for those 2008 battle packs. Even the name of this set is the exact names of the original 2008 battle pack. So I think that's pretty cool. I wish they had gotten a bit more creative with the back of the box though and given it a bit more of that 2008 vibe, but it's still quite beautiful. Overall, the box is just very well done on this set. Now, as we unbox it, you're actually going to find 6 numbered bags inside, so definitely a very split up build, and you have 2 separate instruction manuals, so you could have 2 people build this set at the same time working on different sections, or really battle packs, because it's 2 battle packs in one. Moving into the minifigs, we get 3 Rebel Fleet Troopers and 3 Stormtroopers, and then this set commits the cardinal sin of any battle pack. It includes a named character. However, this might be one of the few times I'll ever turn a blind eye because of the story behind QTKT, definitely a heartwarming one, and the anniversary nature of this battle pack. The QTKT is a decent enough astromech droid figure, and the prints that it does have are very accurate, but I do think this in particular shows the limitations of LEGO's astromech droid, as when you compare it to the source material, it's just missing a lot. I mean, a lot of detail that they have never put on astromech droids, so I'm not knocking them for it, but side by side, you can just tell it's missing a lot of the white detail that it needs to not look way too pink. The back of it just doesn't have a back print, which just screams to me that they were being cheap with this figure, which doesn't surprise me. We'll get to that even more later, but yeah, QTKT as a 25th anniversary figure I think is a good pick because it is a figure that we would have never gotten otherwise, and I feel like these anniversary slots are best utilized for something like that. And of course, with that anniversary status comes the 25 years of LEGO Star Wars display stand that includes a 2x4 plate that you can use to attach to other display stands. However, seeing as this is the 7th and final 25th anniversary figure, here's QTKT alongside the other 6, all inside my premium acrylic 25th anniversary case that fits perfectly with your 7 LEGO Star Wars 25th anniversary figures. I've got a link to buy it down in the description below at MandRproductions.com, and I'm super excited to finally have that case completely filled out. Now, turning our attention back to our Rebel Fleet Troopers, you get 3 of them, like I said. They don't have dual molded legs. This is something I already talked about in my review of the Tantive Hallway earlier this year, but it's kind of inexcusable that these figures aren't getting dual molded legs just for how much better they make Rebel Fleet Troopers look and how cheap it would probably be for LEGO to just do it. Like, it'd look amazing. So the Rebel Fleet Troopers are nice. If you don't know any better, you don't know what you're missing out on, but man, LEGO is really cheaping out there. And then the Stormtroopers really are kind of the top of their game, at least for this current version of Stormtrooper. There's nothing that I think they could do to make them better. Some people want to see new helmets. I'm kind of indifferent on that issue, but definitely an issue to some people. So that's all 7 figures included in the set. And if you compare this to other $40 LEGO Star Wars sets, 7 is actually a very generous number. I mean, the $140 Star Destroyer that came out over the summer only had 7 figures. So 7 in a $40 set is good. The problem this set has, though, is that there are comparisons to battle packs to be made. And as a 2-in-1 battle pack at $40, it should have 8 minifigures. So on the Rebel side of things, I would have just given them the dual molded legs to make up for the lack of a 4th one compared to the original battle pack. And on the Stormtrooper side of things, I feel like the Shadow Trooper was absolutely needed here to pilot the Imperial Dropship. It's the pilot from the original 2 versions of this battle pack. It just makes sense that he should have been here. And I was actually so curious about this omission that I reached out to the designer of the set and he said, yeah, so when we design sets, we have to prioritize, and the Shadow Trooper was a consideration, but in the end, we sadly have to prioritize other stuff in the set. So I very much appreciate him taking some time to give us an answer, but it does kind of leave an open end there of like, what else were they prioritizing? Because as we noted, it wasn't dual molded legs on Rebel Troopers, it wasn't a back print on QTKT, and it wasn't a Shadow Trooper, but it turns out the builds in this set are some beefy boys. We'll focus in on the Rebel Scout Speeder first because I think this one is noticeably more chunky feeling than the Dropship, at least when it's side by side with the new Dropship. Like, just seeing how wide this thing is just insane. And honestly, it's not that much wider than the original 2008 version. It's more so like the height of it all. I don't know, just everything about it feels chunky, whether or not I can put it into exact terms. So let's get that 2008 one out of the way, and let's see what 2024 is made of. First things first, it's not a Lego Star Wars set without some stickers, although I think on this particular model, they definitely add some nice detail to the front hood and on the side here. Now, this little bumper area, nice and rounded, does look pretty cool. The underside of it has some inverted tiles. That's something we also saw in the original 2008 model, so definitely nice to see it return here because it allows the combat speeder to slide easily across surfaces. There's definitely a bit of interesting design on the back end of the speeder. First up, I love the contours. It kind of has an intake to let air into the engines, it feels like, and then you have that thrust coming out of the back, so that full like continuous design definitely feels nice. Then directly on the side, and that's on both sides, you've got a ladder because the ladder will allow a minifig to walk on up to the turret. Put the weapon down there for now. We'll come back to it later, but you can sit them on top just like that. There's that printed control panel, just one of those standard Star Wars ones that we see all the time. And this thing can rotate 360 degrees. It even has the stud shooters on top that you can fire off and try to shoot at your enemies. Now, I think one of the coolest things this new combat speeder does is it replicates a feature from the original combat speeder, and that's so you can take off the turret and make it a standalone turret. And so it can just be there to defend the area. And I love that. Plus, you end up with some storage space. This was a really ingenious design by the designer. You've got a couple studs in there that I just threw in there that were extra from the build. I assume, though, you can fit the weapon inside, and so that could be stored inside while you've got your trooper on top. So I love that either way. I think it's great to have that extra storage compartment underneath. Certainly something that they do on a lot of Lego Star Wars sets. I just did not expect it on this set at all. So I love that that was able to be included there. Really smart. Now in this next section, there's seats for 2 minifigs, and there's a control panel at the front that's got a nice print on it. But we can take one minifig, place them at the back, and I actually just noticed as I put it down with the helmet, you can see there's that extra bit of space at the back so that the helmet can fit there. So that's really great too. So there it is, filled to the brim with Rebel troopers, 3 of them to be exact, one on the turret up there. And it's definitely a tight fit, but it does work out very well. So there's that. Oh, I didn't even notice. You can move that up. It's on a hinge piece. That's cool. With my nostalgia goggles on, I have a hard time admitting this new one might be better than the old one. But I mean, clearly the design looks so much better and more modern. Although better in this case, I think is quite subjective, especially given the chunky look of the new one. Like the old one is definitely more streamlined, clean looking, which is something that I just generally like in life. But you know, the new one looks very much like it's actually from Star Wars and could be a real ship, versus this one is like, yeah, I mean, it's a 2008 version. It could be of a real ship, I guess, but it's very much a dumbed down version of that. So definitely interesting to see the two models together, and that should bring us into the Imperial Dropship. So looking at the new one next to 2019 and 2008, obviously the new one is much chunkier. And again, this seems to be where the focus in this set has gone and why we're missing some of those minifig things. And I think in the case of the dropship, it's not as beneficial. I think this thing just ends up looking like a bunch more pieces were stacked onto this design, and it was kind of changed a little bit. Now, there were some aspects of the build, get out of my way, the build on this that I did really like. Like, okay, right here, there's a ball joint. Oh, come on, detach. Oh, all right. So like when you're building this, you build this section after this section's done, and then the way it connects is literally with the ball joint. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't mean you can move it all around. It just is that way so that it gets this really nice forward angle, but it was a cool part of the build that I did enjoy. On the side here, I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely feels like these pieces are made to represent the air intake for the engines that spit out at the very back with that blue cone piece. Definitely very nice. On the top, we've got an Imperial logo with a sticker, and then the stickers that really suck are on the side of the model with the Imperial logo there and over here. And you might notice the blue color is just way off. Like, it's not even close to that darker blue that's there. And stickers have been a problem for Lego. They keep getting worse. And if we look at this one from 2019, you can see the dark blue inside, maybe, hopefully well enough, that you can tell that it wasn't this off color of blue on that older sticker. So I don't know what's going on, but stickers keep getting worse with LEGO Star Wars. I've been pretty indifferent about them over recent years in my reviews, but I mean, this is frankly unacceptable quality. You've got these panel pieces here that you can open a bit and definitely change the way the air flows, I guess, towards the back. On either side of the model, you've got built-in stud shooters to fire at the Rebel Scout Speeder, and then if we go back to the very front, to the cockpit, opens up very easily. You've got a printed control panel piece inside and plenty of space to fit a pilot. Drop him on in there, close that up, and yeah, he fits in there very nicely. A snug fit for sure. And just taking a look at that cockpit area next to the two previous versions, you can really see that they've added so many more pieces to accomplish what is the same area on the ship. So that's definitely where a lot of the budget on this set went, was just adding on more. I actually think, while I'm thinking about it, just remembered the brown on this set is something I really don't like. I think that's maybe the worst part about this new build, because it's just another color that meddles with the design, versus the older sets were just gray and blue, gray and blue, gray and blue, gray and blue, touch of black, same deal, right? But this one adds in that extra color of brown, just streak there, and yeah, I could have lived without the extra brown on this set for sure, because I think it makes it look worse. Of course, it is a troop carrier, so you can place a couple minifigs at the back here. There's also clips on the side of the build, which you can place the weapons for the Stormtroopers on if you really don't want them to hold them by hand. And with all the figures loaded up there, it's a bit of a heavy build. There's definitely some substance to this battle pack build, more so than most. And if we look to the very back, we got the final feature, of course, as a dropship. You can pull here, and you can actually pull these figures out, drop them off, and take off with your dropship. And then the engines at the back actually can move down to show it like pushing itself up, so that's even pretty cool. I'm pretty confident in saying I like the older ones better. I feel like they just try to do too much with this, and then the added brown color really just kills it that extra bit for me, where you lose the nice color scheme that you had originally. Oh, and one last thing, the irony of each dropship having one less seat for Stormtroopers than the last is not lost on me. 4, 3, and now 2. So maybe they'll remake this dropship again in the future with one seat at the back. Before I rate the set, I want to talk about the set's availability. It's a LEGO store and LEGO.com exclusive, so if you do want to buy it through LEGO.com, I've got my affiliate link in the description below. It helps out the channel massively when you use those. But the other thing with that is that last year we saw a 3-month lifespan for a set that also came out on October 1st. It was holiday themed, but there's definitely some similarities as to the way it's been released, when it's been released, and where it's been released. And so a lot of people are worried that this new battle pack will retire after 3 months and they won't have a chance to get it. Now, I will say the holiday diorama was easily purchasable throughout its lifespan, but maybe this one would have more demand because of the 25th anniversary figure and all of that. But this set isn't supposed to retire until the end of 2025, which will give you about 15 months to go and pick it up, which is frankly ample time. So hopefully some good information there for any of you who may have been worried about getting one of these. But at the end of the day, what would I rate this set? It's a tough one because it's got some flaws, but it's also got some cool things about it. Just the concept of the set on its own is pretty cool. The idea that for the 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars, they remade both the original 2007 battle packs and the 2008 battle packs in the same year is just really cool to me. When it comes down to it, for your money, for $40, is it worth it? I would say yes, compared to other $40 sets. When you look at it through the lens of a battle pack and it doesn't have the 8 figures, it definitely hurts. But I think for the most part, if you're fine with the issues that I brought up earlier in the review, or if you just really need that QT KT to round out your 25th anniversary figure collection, you're going to be very happy with this set. And frankly, it's also such a great playset. Like, obviously a lot of things I look through as a collector's mentality, but it's also a fantastic playset that brings in a lot of the great features that the original versions of this set had. So I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's just definitely missing some stuff, some details, and a little bit of that dollar value, but it's a pretty cool set. I hope they do more things like it. It's just unique, and I like unique things from LEGO Star Wars, at least good unique things, and this is a good unique thing. So let me know what you think about it in the comments section below. If you plan on buying one, use my affiliate link in the description below, and you can check out more LEGO Star Wars 2024 set reviews on the end screen now.